Hello, and welcome to the latest episode of Harmonious World. My name is Hilary Seabrook. And if you don't know already, Harmonious World is all about me interviewing musicians about how their music helps make the world more harmonious. This episode, I'm joined by sax player Alden Hellmuth, and her album Tether comes out this week. I've already written a review, so feel free to read that. All the links are in the show notes. Alden's a spectacular sax player, and she has a very interesting two-bass acoustic jazz ensemble with bassists Logan Kane and Miller Wren, as well as drummer Justin Brown, pianist Paul Cornish, and trumpeter Yakiv Swienski. What you're listening to now is Supply Chain, taken from Tether, and I'm really looking forward to this conversation, and I hope you enjoy listening into it. Welcome, Alden Hellmuth. It's so good to be chatting with you just prior to the release of Tether.
Hi, yeah, it's so great to be chatting with you too. Thanks so much for having me.
Brilliant. Thank you. So where on earth did this come from? I mean, especially fascinated by the two bass thing you've got going on,
Yeah.
and the compositions and where it all came from. So let's wind it back a bit. So when did you start writing these
Yeah.
pieces?
So from 2023 to 2025, I was at the Herbie Hancock Institute, which is out at UCLA. And so I was very focused on just composing and working, and I just spent a lot of time writing. And then I started to immerse myself into the Los Angeles music scene, and made a lot of wonderful connections and friends. And there's some amazing musicians out there with some really distinct voices. And in fall of 2024, one of the bassists, Miller Wren, asked me to be part of a bill at Non Plus Ultra, which is this very kind of DIY, very fun space to play in, not a traditional jazz venue at all. And he told me that Logan was also going to be on the bill doing his solo bass works. And I just thought, why not have both of them? Like, what a fun idea. And they're just so different in their own right that I kind of saw it kind of made sense to me. I was like, Logan's timbre and the way that he plays is the polar opposite of Miller. So it just made sense to me at the time, but it also was like this fun sort of outlet. And so that first show really inspired kind of the entire project because I decided right then and there that I'd been also listening to a lot of more punk music at the time. I had kind of been revisiting Deerhoof, and I had just discovered this band Otoboke Beaver, which is an amazing Japanese punk band. And I kind of credit those two records that I was listening to at the time to the like sound of this project, or what started as the sound is of this project. And so yeah, I started writing kind of like it was like a fun sort of get away from school, get away from the way that I was writing for sextet in a more traditional sense, and write for two basses and cordless quartet. And I just had a lot of fun with it at first. And then as we played more and more shows, I very quickly realized, oh, this could be something bigger, and we can invite people in, and it can be this sound. And yeah, it just evolved into a much bigger project. And yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because once you know it's got two basses in and two different people playing bass, it's not like you've double tracked.
Yeah.
And you can hear the difference. And I found myself, it's like when you have an album and there's two sax players, even if it's two tenors, you can still tell which is which. And I've never been able to do that with basses before, and it was really interesting.
Yeah, they are so different from each other, and it just really, really worked. Like
Yeah.
it's really a testament to the improvisers and the players that they both are.
Yeah. So while we're talking about them, let's talk about Paul Cornish on piano. He's got a lovely style as well, hasn't he?
He really does. He also is one of my favorite improvisers. He's an amazing pianist and he has some amazing projects, and he's also an amazing writer. Love Paul. But he also, if you give him nothing, he somehow comes up with like the most magical ideas that make the most sense in any sort of context. And so the two tracks that I have him on are a bit more open-ended, though there is information that I gave him. I didn't give him nothing. But and he just added all of the right things. I think I can't unhear the way that Paul played on Witness now. I think everything, yeah, in the way that he contributed to Fakers as well. Like there he's just such, again, just a distinct voice on his instrument.
Yeah, definitely. And then you've got drummer Justin Brown.
Another incredibly distinct and just all around amazing drummer and musician.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. And then your trumpeter. So I think what's really interesting is when you and the trumpet do some ensemble pieces. That's really nice. The way you kind of do stuff where you're in unison and then you're not, and then you come back and like that. It's really nice.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I Yakov is from Ukraine and he was doing the program with me. And so, just playing with someone for 2 years, you develop a really close musical relationship.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So my guess is that if I tried, I could probably find other pieces where you two played together, and I bet they'd be interesting because you'd be different because this is obviously your stuff and your kind of direction.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to look out for that now.
Yeah.
That's a rabbit hole of the internet that I'm happy to go down.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So where did you learn to play the saxophone?
I grew up in Hartford, Connecticut, and so I had some great teachers early on, and then I went to the Hart School, and I actually studied music business or like entertainment performing arts management, but I couldn't escape music. I think, I took some classes during the summer and did some extra credit work so that I could continue taking lessons with then Abraham Burton. And yeah, I mean, I've just loved the saxophone from an early age. And then once I found out about improvising, it was game over.
Yeah. And clearly that's where your strength lies. It feels like I don't know how much, but I guess probably not very much is what, you went into the studio with these germs of an idea and then took them in whatever direction they went at that time, and then they'll probably live go in a different direction sometimes.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the music is it is pretty written out, some of it, or composed, but I've been playing a lot of the music in a completely different context. I just did a show with Paul where he was playing on everything, and it still really works because it's so open-ended and because I'm down for whatever to happen within this music and it allows for that. So it works in like any sort of context, and we'll be touring this summer in Europe, and we're doing just more traditional quartet with one bass, drums, and piano.
Yeah. Well, it'll be interesting then to hear. I'm hoping to get to at least one of those gigs, and it'll be interesting to hear how different it is live because it will be different anyway, but
Of course.
with a different ensemble.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. So where in Europe can people see you?
We'll be in Basel, Switzerland for 2 nights, July 8th and 9th. And then we'll be in Frankfurt at Jazz Montez, July 10th. And then North Sea Jazz Festival on the 12th. And then Berlin on the 13th at Donau. And then in Italy, Mantova, um, playing at this beautiful church on the 14th.
Brilliant. I I'm still holding out hope that I might get to the North Sea Jazz Festival
Oh,
because I've
yeah.
really wanted to get there. So I'm still kind of like weighing up the possibilities. So
I'm really excited. It's
yeah.
it's such a incredible festival. I was so honored that they asked me to play, and it's going to be such a blast. I already know.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what's the next plan? So, you've got some gigs coming up, you're coming to Europe, but what's the next bit of life for you?
Well, I mean, that band is, I live in New York now. And so I think I'm gonna start writing for the next project, which will probably be similar to my band from Good Intentions. Those are the people I love playing with here in New York. Um, but I mean, I love playing with Miller and Logan, and I feel like eventually maybe we'll do like a volume two of this project. That's my hope in the future. But being in New York, it's just tough, and yeah, I definitely want to keep pushing and writing and growing and
Yeah, but also you've got the stuff that's on Good Intentions, which was your debut album, which you can still tour, and there will still be people who haven't yet heard that. So,
yeah,
yeah,
no, that is true. I always
yeah,
forget that it's not
yeah.
over.
No, that's right. And actually, sometimes, funnily enough, I went last weekend to a gig with a sax player who, because he went off on tour with Abdullah Ibrahim in 2009, he didn't tour the whole album. He toured it like a little bit, but not very much. So he's just re-released it and he's going to tour it now. It's like 18 years later, but why not?
Yeah,
So they can have a whole new life, lease of life.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Can we talk briefly about Face the Wall? Because that was the first single off the album. I'm interested in why you chose that to be the first single.
I think ultimately it was more of a group decision.
Right?
Um, I felt really strongly. I feel this about most records, and it's just the way the industry is, right? That we have to put out singles.
Yeah.
But I really feel strongly about this entire album as a body of work. Um, and it's tough when you have to pick singles, and it's like, what's gonna grab people's attention, or do you want to work against that and put out something that may not grab people's attention but will get make people question, or how are you going to get people interested in the record? And yeah, I think it's really interesting, the whole single thing, but I think it's an exciting song, and it was, to be fair, it was the very first piece that I wrote for this project specifically.
Ah.
So I think I felt a little bit sentimental about it being the single, maybe.
Right. Okay. Well, so I think it's a good track. I agree with you about the whole singles thing because sometimes it feels like it goes. You don't need to listen to the whole album. Listen to this, but actually, especially I think with Tether, and I read somewhere you saying something about there's a sort of thread that goes through the whole album, which and it feels like that. It feels like there's not necessarily motifs that come back, but there's a sense that if it wouldn't be the end of the world if somebody heard it like one track by track by track and heard different things sort of cropping up in them. So
hmm Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So it does feel like a whole body of work rather than a collection.
Yeah.
Separate things.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it as well. It's really just its own thing, and I felt it was tough because when we were picking singles, I was like, "Oh, no, just release it all," But
Yeah.
yeah, it's tough. I think I was thinking about this the other day. Like, I genuinely think the next record I'm just gonna drop. I don't I don't want to do any singles. I just want to let people have it and see how they feel about it and which songs stick out. Although maybe that's not the most advisable on the industry side of things.
Well, yeah, and that's the problem that actually industry people sometimes do know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
And so that can help, but equally, you've got to there comes a point where you have to do what is right for you.
Yeah.
One of the first guests on Harmonious World was Maria Schneider.
Oh,
And
amazing.
I know, and it was when she had just released Data Lords.
Oh, wow.
And it was ironic that Data Lords came out right at the start of lockdown.
Mm,
So she couldn't play it anywhere. And I don't think it had the exposure that it should have done. but she's very much a woman in control of her music, and very much in control of where you can get hold of it and where it's performed and all the rest of it. And I think when you reach that stature, then you can perhaps do that, and perhaps in some ways doing that before you get there will help you get there quicker.
Who knows? It's all a
Who
gamble.
knows? Exactly. Absolutely, it is. Absolutely.
You
But
never know. That's why it's so great when people really resonate with your work. It's you never know, you really
no,
never know. And it's really interesting and it just means a lot when people tell me that they really like it or they hear the motifs or they get it. I'm like, yes, I did it. I did the thing.
you did the thing.
It's
And I hope when you read my review, you'll realize that I got it. What I always do with when I'm either going to interview somebody or I'm going to review an album is I dip into it first. So my first thing is like I listen to, especially if there's a single, I might listen to that and I might listen to a little bit of other bits, but it's very much kind of piecemeal. And then when I'm about to review it, then I go and listen to it start to finish. And as soon as I heard a bit of yours, I was like, oh, this is going to be nice. It's brilliant.
Oh, thank you.
Do
Thanks.
you know Melissa Aldana?
Yes, I love
Okay,
her.
I know. It's not that you're the same. You're not the same at all, but I could hear something of that freedom that she's got that you've got as well.
She is a master, though. Oh man, I really look up to her so much. I got to study with her a little bit while I was in grad school, and she truly is masterful in
Yeah.
her discipline, in her practice, in the way that she executes things, in the way that she is still so open and searching in her ideas. Like, what an inspiration. Yeah, I really, really, really love Melissa's playing.
Yeah. So I did the same. I interviewed her and it was just it's breathtaking, isn't it? Her, as you say, mastery.
Hmm.
Yeah. But as I said, I love Tether and I wish you all the success with it because I think it's a really interesting, great piece of work.
Thank you so much. That really means a lot. It really does. Like, just having people resonate with it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Fantastic. Well, good luck with it and good luck with the release on Friday.
Thank
And thank
you.
you for talking to me.
Of course, thanks for having me. It was a real treat.
Well, I hope you enjoyed listening to that conversation with Alden Hellmuth. And what you're listening to now is definitely not Friends. This is such a great album. Tether is absolutely wonderful. And it takes some listening to. You need to kind of give some time to it, but I think it's a wonderful thing and very well worth that time. So please do share, rate, review this podcast wherever you get yours. And I hope you have a very, very good week. Thank you for listening to the latest episode of Harmonious World. My name is Hilary Seabrook, and it's a great delight to bring this series of discussions with musicians and composers and writers and all sorts of people to you Obviously, there's no point in having a podcast if people aren't listening, and I'm very grateful to my listeners for doing so. Thanks also to Joe English for composing and performing this new theme tune. So wherever you get your podcast, you can leave a review. You can share this with your friends and family, either as a link or on social media and that sort of thing. I'd be really grateful for that. Don't forget that you can subscribe now. There's a link wherever you get your podcasts. So have a great week, and please remember why I started this, which is just to try and make the world a little more harmonious. Thanks for listening to Harmonious World.